Most shots are hit with a golf ball. Okay, every good shot is certainly hit with a golf ball. My name's Steve Ogg, and I'm the Vice President of Golf Ball Research and Development at Callaway Golf. Golf balls affect everything. They affect the accuracy, the dispersion, the distance, the feel, the control, regardless of whether they're just out to have fun and wants a ball that's a good value, gives them good distance, keeps the ball in play. We've got those products. Starting with the two-piece golf balls, the key there is balancing the cover with the core. Big Bertha is a really good example of that. It's a very soft-feeling golf ball with really good distance characteristics. As you move on to the three-piece golf balls, there's a lot more variables and there's a lot more product variety that you can provide to the golfer with a three-piece construction. But here you can adjust the mantle and cover individually to give distance and control. Now, if you do want the ultimate in performance and the ultimate in combination of feel, control, distance, and durability, that's when you move up to our four-piece golf balls. You have a dual core that's the foundation for these Tour I Series golf balls. So you have two different concepts there that are embodied in dual core: differential compression and inertia. And we utilize both of those to create, I think, the best golf balls on the market. And I like to think that technology is kind of the key differentiator when it comes to Callaway versus the competition. The golf ball starts with the core. The core is the engine of the golf ball, and the core is made up of synthetic rubber. And it starts out with cutting and mixing these materials. All these materials are very accurately weighed, and they're mixed in an internal mixer. We have two different styles of mixers that we use. Once this material is thoroughly mixed, it's sheeted on a two-roll mill. Two-roll mill, imagine two counter-rotating cylinders that have a gap. It continues to mix the material, but it also gets it into a form that allows it to be extruded in an extruder. Extruder is designed to take a large mass of material and make plugs. Here's an example of an extruded piece of polybutadiene rubber core formulation. After extrusion, we take the plugs and we load them into a compression mold, and they're molded in a heated compression mold tool, and they're made into a round core. That spherical core, depending on the product, is then ground in a glee bar machine, centerless grinding, to be very concentric. When it's a four-piece golf ball, we actually do two series of compression molding. We'll mold the inner core, then we'll make two smaller plugs. They look like this, but they're smaller, that we use to mold the hemispherical shells of our dual core golf balls. Once you have the core, you move on to the injection molding of either the cover or the mantle, depending on whether it is a two-piece, three-piece, or four-piece golf ball. Injection molding involves insert molding this core. So you have pins that support the core, you have a mold that closes around that core, and then you have plastic that's heated and is injection and flows around the core. As the plastic flows around the core, the pins are retracted to be flush with the outside of the cavity. In the case of our rim golf balls, you actually use a process called reaction injection molding, or RIM, to injection mold a cover around the injection molded insert. The cavities that we use are machined to have the surface geometry that gives us the aerodynamic performance. Regardless of whether you have an injection molded cover of thermoplastic ionomer or whether it's a rim cover, you then degate the ball so that the material is removed, leaving a small amount of flash. Those balls are then moved to what we call a seam buffer. Other people call it a milling machine, where you remove the flash around the equator of the golf ball. Once you've done that, typically the golf balls go through a prep process where they're tumbled to remove any debris that's on the golf ball and prepare the balls for finishing. Once the balls move to the finish room, they're preheated prior to being sprayed with, once again, a two-component urethane finish system. In the case of our premium golf balls like the Tour I and the Tour IX, there's actually two coats of tinted urethane paint that go on top of the golf ball. And then the balls have a logo stamped on them, and they go to packaging. And then they go to the distribution warehouse and shipped out to our consumers.